Hi everyone. What do you do when you come up to a roundabout and you're not quite sure whether it's a right turn or whether it's a straight on? How do you decide? I know when we get taught certain things when we learn to drive by instructors, you know, we get the basic, we get the bones of things sometimes. Maybe you're taught about whether it's up to 12 o'clock or past 12 o'clock. Well, that generally works, but honestly there are a few exceptions. So I'm going to try and enlighten a few people today on just how you decide whether it's a straight on or whether it's a right turn. So first of all, let's get the basic stuff out the way. If you were turning left, if you look at the sign, Hawthorne Road Industrial Area, the left lane, it's the only one you can use. If you were turning right towards Walton, you'd need the right lane. It's the only one you can use. But the key to doing these roundabouts safely is understanding this point. That not on every single roundabout, but a lot of roundabouts, if there are 2 lanes on the approach and 2 lanes across the other side, you can go straight on from both. And this is actually the key to understanding whether or not it's a straight on or whether it's a right turn. Let's go and show you. So, first things first, we're going ahead and we're going to use the left lane. Quite simply, look on the approach, find your safe way out into the roundabout, and you've got to stay in the left because there could be cars next to you to your right. Simply enough. There's nothing rocket science about that. Let's go round again. Let's do the same turn but from lane 2 this time. So let's have a look at this from lane 2 now. Still going to follow the same direction ahead, and you'd use this lane maybe if you were overtaking the traffic in the left or if you were going to turn right a little bit further up. But you must stay in lane 2 throughout the roundabout. There could be cars to our left hand side. And as I leave, I also exit into lane 2. Now, sometimes roundabouts aren't going to work like that. Sometimes there's going to be markings on the approach that say that you can't do that. But generally, 2 lanes on the approach to 2 lanes or main road to main road, you can go straight from both lanes. And it's this fact that really tells us whether it's a right turn or whether it's a straight. Now, this next roundabout, it's the 3rd junction. Now, some people think that it's the 1st and 2nd are ahead. It's a load of rubbish. This is still straight. So I can do it from either. I can do it from the left or the right. And it's quite often people thinking that it's only the 1st and 2nd junctions that can be done from the left lane, and then the 3rd and the 4th need to be done from lane 2, which causes the issue. From this left lane, I could not go any further round than this junction because the right lane could be coming in next to me. And following on from that point, as I'm doing this roundabout and as I'm doing a right turn, I cannot go into any of these junctions on the left-hand side. The first junction that I can go to is that straight-on one. And it's this that really shows us what to do, and whether it's a straight or whether it's a right. The first junction that the right lane can go to is usually the straight on if there's a couple of lanes on the approach. So I couldn't go in this one to the left, I couldn't go in this one, I could go in this one, but I'm actually not. I'm going to do the further turns. And it's understanding those 2 lanes that go in that same direction that tells you whether it's a straight or whether it's a right. Not this roundabout, but the next one we're coming up to. we're going to take the 4th junction. Now, would your way of being taught or your thought process make you think that that's a right turn? Maybe. And again, that's the mistake that people make. We need to look at signs and try and work out where it is. So what we said earlier on about 12 o'clock, it does apply, but you've also got to look for other things. You've also got to look for whether it's a continuation of the road. I'm just going to try and point it out just as we come up to this next sign. This next sign we're going to follow for Liverpool. It is the 4th junction, but you can see the thicker part of the sign is at the bottom and the top, and that shows you the continuation of the road. And this is another trick to give you an idea of what is straight, and anything past that is a right turn. So even though that this is the 4th junction, we are 100% fine doing it from the left lane. The right lane cannot take the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, but it could take the 4th. So going back to what I said before, the 1st junction that the right lane can go to is usually the straight on. Can you imagine if the right lane now tried to go down this one, Marsh Avenue? When you're going to cause a crash, it will cut straight in front of you. So it can't be done. So let's have a look now at just the 2nd exit. Is the 2nd exit always straight on? No. There are exceptions all the time, and this roundabout that we're coming to has effectively got flat sides. If you're going past the rounded end of a flat-sided roundabout, like I am doing now, and it's only the 2nd junction over there, you have to treat it like a right turn. So the 2nd exit is not always left lane. I've already done a video on flat-sided roundabout. I'll put the link up there. But there are always exceptions, and you've got to know these exceptions and not be so sort of like tunnel visioned into thinking just 12 o'clock tells me what lane, or just the 1st and the 2nd exit tells me what lane. It's not like that. So what do you do if you're uncertain of which lane to choose? Well, it's a no-brainer. You pick the right lane or lane 2. And the reason for that is you could always go around the roundabout again and try again to get off if you couldn't have done the first time. And it's when people take a gamble that they can use the left and continue all the way round, which causes accidents. So let's have a look at this one coming up. We're going to take the 3rd junction. There's no sign on the approach, so I know it's over that side. So even if 2 lanes did go around for that way, I'd still be safe doing it from the inside. So that's what I'm going to do. And this also adds to the awareness of around and why it's really important. Who's to my left at the moment? No one. So we can check, signal, and slide over, which you should do after doing a right turn. But again, if you're uncertain, exit into lane 2, or go around again and try again. One of the other things that people need to take into account nowadays is the advent of spiral or gyratory roundabouts. Now, these are usually found at the end of motorways or joining motorways, and slightly different rules apply. Now, when I got taught to drive 25 years ago and plus, there was no such thing as gyratory or spiral roundabouts, regularly all around. So there's a big generation who don't really understand how these work, and honestly, even learners nowadays, they're not always taught how these spiral roundabouts work. I teach my learners, but it's not always the case. So these are an exception as well. And honestly, these spiral roundabouts, for me, are one of the big causes why people get into the wrong lanes at normal roundabouts. I'll try and show you as we approach this spiral roundabout a little bit further up. And what I'm going to be doing is following the signs for Heighton. It's the A5080. And quite simply with spiral roundabouts, the first left lane, lane number 1, usually services the first and the second junctions off the roundabout. Anything more than that, you need the right lane. So as we approach this roundabout, I know where it is and do this roundabout all the time, but we're going to follow the signs for Heighton. And if you have a look at the sign coming up on the left hand side, it's the final junction, Heighton A5080. So we treat it like a right turn because it's past the third junction. So third junction onwards, use this right hand lane. And I'm going to try and explain why people tend to do the other roundabouts wrong as we do this. So we go on the roundabout, we're in the right hand side, and we keep on moving to the right until we find our lane. If we look at the green signs again, we've got to move to lane 3 again. We're still moving across, we're in that moving across sort of period. But when I find my lane that I'm going to be in, I sit and stay. I don't move any further to the right. And there shouldn't be any need on these spiral or gyratory roundabouts to move across towards the left, because my lane should just head off, and it will do. So again, Heighton is this next one across. And now I've found my lane, I tend to cancel my signal. We look up at the green sign, Heighton is now the middle, and I'm not going to change lanes, I'm not going to do anything with it. But look how far this left lane heads me around the roundabout. And it's this that actually causes people to think, when they're doing the normal roundabouts, that they can go all the way round in the left lane. And then that's going to cause a near miss or a crash. So something honestly needs to be done, training wise maybe, for people. Maybe there's some changes to the highway code, or just education in general about people using these spiral or gyratory roundabouts, because it's that thought of going all the way around in the left hand side that you can sometimes do for a certain period of time on here that then causes people to do it wrong on the other ones. So here's another little anomaly. This particular roundabout, the second junction is slightly past 12 o'clock, but because it's a continuation of the road, we can safely treat it like a straight on. We can do it from the left lane, we can do it from the right, we could do it from either. And again, the first junction is just a single lane exit, and the continuation of the road is the 2 lanes. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. I hope that's cleared a few things up. If you're in doubt, remember, use the right lane, treat it like a right turn, because you can always go all the way around the roundabout and try again. I'll see you all soon.